Hi, it's Trevor's Library. Today, Trevor's Library, where reading is the best time of your life. And today instead of reading a book, we're going to read some poetry. Because I have some friends I hang around on the internet, on some web forums where different people write poetry. So these are some poems that I've selected, some of the best poems that are by some internet friends of mine, some of their best work. So I have good poems here to read to you. The first one is by my friend Greg Hohenzollern, and it's called Brothers. Oh, look, my friend, across the seas, to the distant lands and skies between, where strange men sit and laugh and sing. The sky is the same for them and me. For brothers differ over this and that, over where to sit or how to wear a hat. But some things are universal, never changing, you see. The vast blue sky and the roaring sea. So why is there conflict, hate, and death, when each breath of air is my brother's breath? Our differences are small, as the sea is great. Oh why do brothers hate? That was Brothers by Greg Hohenzollern. The next one is a long one, but it has a good message too. It's called What Would You Do? And is by Harold Finken. A polar bear stands in the north so alone. What has happened to her beloved home? This day she had played with her cubs on the ice. She taught them to hunt and gave mother's advice. But the ground disappeared, yes, it melted away, and the children were taken by the ocean's blue gray. The children have drowned, the deep sea is their grave, and the mother just wonders, why couldn't they be saved? If it were you, what would you do? Where would you go and how would you cope? If it were you, what would you do? What would you do if you had no hope? A pelican writhes on a slimy, slick beach, oil on his feathers, his wings, and his beak. Majestic he was, but now clumsy and broken. His lungs slowly fill with the oil that he soaked in. A dark wave has taken him quite by surprise. The greed of strange bipeds, his unknown demise. He wonders, why won't my wings work anymore? And never again will that pelican soar. If it were you, what would you do? Where would you go? And how would you cope? If it were you, what would you do? What would you do if you had no hope? A boy in a schoolyard has tears in his eyes. He can't understand why he's been ostracized. The other boys, cruel with their taunts and their jeers, only add greater frustration and fears. And tears. I'm sorry. All because his pure young love has been given to another young boy rather than to the women. His heart has been crushed and is full of despair. Will he ever meet anyone who even cares? If it were you, what would you do? Where would you go and how will you cope? If it were you, what would you do? What would you do if you had no hope? Now I ask you, what will you do? How will you act? And how will you change? Now I ask you, what will you do? How will you bring hope to those who feel pain? And that is What Would You Do by Carol Finken. And my last one for tonight is one about a topic that's a little less moralizing perhaps, but I think is still very relevant. It is called I'm a Wizard by Janine Saunders. All the knowledge in the world is at my fingertips. I need only wiggle my fingers a certain way to find the answer to any question. I can see any place in the world. My maps show every road and every address, and they can show me exactly what they look like. I can speak with anyone I want. At a whim, I can conjure up the voice of any friend or relative and project my voice over great distances. I can have anything that I desire. I simply claim it and recite the magic numbers, and the object that I have summoned appears at my door. There is only one logical conclusion. I am a wizard. You may be skeptical. You may think there's a reasonable explanation. You may speak of smartphones and Google Maps and Amazon, to which I say, I see that you know the magic words. Are you a wizard too? And that was I'm a Wizard by Janine Saunders. And that's all the poems that I have for tonight. So,